Now, there's been a heavy criticism of the Tinubu administration after hundreds of students were abducted from St. Mary's Catholic School in Niger State last week. Church officials from the Christian Association of Nigeria, which is in charge of the school in Papiri that was targeted by kidnappers, have blasted the Tinubu administration, saying the government has made little meaningful efforts to rescue the students. Around 50 managed to escape on their own, leaving more than 250 children and a dozen teachers still missing, making it one of the worst mass abductions this country has ever seen. Activists are accusing the authorities of ignoring the kidnapping crisis in Nigeria as a major military-led search continues. They are urging officials to stop negotiating with gunmen and to prosecute those responsible for past security failures. So given the number of rescues we've seen in the last few days, including the one I was just talking to Godfrey Eshemoge about, is it fair to say that the Tinubu administration is doing very little to rescue the abducted students? Well, for more on this, I'm joined now in the studio by the chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria in the 19 northern states and Abuja, Reverend John Joseph Hayab. Thank you very much indeed for coming in. We appreciate that.
Thank you for having me, and good evening, viewers.
First of all, what's your reaction to the news that the 24 schoolgirls abducted in Maga in Kebbi State have regained their freedom?
Sincerely, it's a cheering news. Congratulations to the parents, congratulations to the girls themselves, and congratulations to the government of Kebbi State. Earlier, just before I walked in here, I was made to know that there was a day prayer in Kebbi State, and there has been effort around the security details around Nigeria in the past 10 days have actually been on their toes trying to change stories because everybody seems to be worried, everybody is angry, everybody is disturbed. Within 7 days, 25 children were taken away from Kebbi, and then we moved to the kidnapped and the gun attacked in Kwara, then the kidnap of the children in Niger. So when you put all this together, you know that it's been a traumatic week, a traumatic days for parents, for leaders, and for our security men. So we can just say we're so happy that at least there's a cheering news today in Kebbi. We are hopeful because a few days ago there was a cheering news in Kwara and a cheering news in Niger. Then today a cheering news in Kebbi. We are hopeful that more cheering news will come.
Well, let me ask you this then. What's the latest on the security operation in Niger State? Because the authorities say they've deployed lots of security operatives to try and rescue the students, but some locals have said that they haven't seen a visible military and police presence in that area, unless they have a different system of doing
speaking,
it.
That's the comment and that's the report we've also received from the locals. So the onus is now on the Nigerian security agencies to ensure that, look, we don't speak about this on the pages of newspaper or on television. People want to see concrete action. Imagine a father, a mother whose daughter, and there's something that probably many Nigerians don't know. One of the parents of these girls or these children that were picked in this school, Mr. Anthony, died yesterday of heart attack.
Oh dear.
Because 3 of his children
are victims. So sorry.
People don't understand this. So when you speak this, you are not speaking against anybody. You are just trying to tell exactly the problem.
I'm really sorry
the pains, the trauma. We've tried today to speak to many of the parents with their numbers. They're even scared to pick calls. And when I was speaking yesterday to the leadership of the church in Kontagora, and they told me this news because I knew about this death since yesterday. It was a really sad thing. You can imagine the man is in shock because 3 children, he will not even know what to explain, what is happening to them. I said the other day that, you know, these are children who have been used to possibly wake up in the morning, to possibly brush their teeth, wake up in the morning to have breakfast and later tea break or lunch, depend on the school system, and then dinner. These children have not seen sleep in the past few days. These children have not done some of these things. They've not even taken their bath. You can imagine what these children are going through. So now their parents themselves cannot tell exactly where the children are, what happened to the children. Because I think there's a mix-up of information even in some of these conversations. The 50 children that came back, when the bandit entered into that school, they went straight to the junior dormitory and started bringing them out. And I think this news filtered out to the senior dormitory, they ran away. And that's why you see the number of the senior students is low.
So they didn't actually, they didn't escape from the
No,
guys.
they ran into the bush.
Yeah, they ran away.
So what the church did or the school did was to give us a statistics of those that cannot be accounted for.
Yeah.
But when they later got news that these children have gone back to their parents, it is just honest and normal for them to come out and say, look, 50 of our children are back. How? We can't explain because we are not there in the bush with them. Did the bandits saw them and didn't go with them? Or they actually hid from the bandit? And you know, in this traumatic situation, there are questions you may not even get the right answers. But the beautiful thing is that these children are back. But we still have over 265 people to account for, and we are hopeful that something should be done urgently so that we get these children back.
And what are the ages of the children who are still missing?
Well, because they are junior students and in primary school, so you can guess their age. Or in junior secondary school, you can guess their age comparing to those who are in senior classes. These days in Nigeria, you hardly have a child lower than 9 in such places. So between 9 and 13, 14 are mostly the ages of these children.
Yeah, but that's still quite a very young age.
That's right.
I mean, people can be easily traumatized.
That's right.
How much faith do you have in the Tinubu administration to find the students and teachers who are missing and bring them back home safely?
When you look back in efforts that this administration and the security network have done in the past few months, you will have hope, because recently we were told how they were able to track and arrest an Ansaru leader and also some of the terrorist gang leaders. And they've been doing that in very good number. But you see, it seems these efforts are there, but the activities of the terrorists and the bandits is beginning to overwhelm the situation. And no wonder the president himself is saying that, look, wait a minute, where are my men who are supposed to fight? And probably in their report, they told him that, oh, your men are busy guarding the VIPs.
Yes.
And that's why he issued an order that they should go. Because I've always said to people who care to listen that we have what it takes in Nigeria, whether police, army, or any security agencies, to deal with the security situation. But there's a problem. The problem, number one, has to do with deployment. A large chunk of those who are supposed to be securing communities, securing Nigerians, are securing VIPs. Not only VIPs, do you know that in this country, a good number of police who are supposed to be securing Nigerians are securing our banks, which ordinarily the banks are supposed to recruit their security men and then take them to police college to be trained to go and do work for them, but they are taking advantage of what is going on and are taking our police. Imagine in a city like Abuja or Kaduna or Kano, if you have 300 banks, then the possibilities that you have around 300 to 400 police, if not 600 police, guarding
usually
banks.
they're more than
and
one
they have
anyway.
no reason to be there. So when proper deployment is done, we'll be able to get rid of these things. Do you know that even some who get themselves into security work, instead of seeking to opportunity to go and defend Nigeria, are busy lobbying to be posted or be called upon to guard one VIP. So that mentality must change if we want to. But the capacity, we have what it takes to deal with this.
Well,
but because we are not deploying it right, and which is something that telling them that deployment is not right, is not in any way that you are
Well, I mean,
with them.
some people would dispute that idea of having the capacity, because if you look at the number of policemen per person, I mean, per groups in Nigeria here, they're a lot less than they ought to be, which is why the president wants to recruit more of them. But I mean, do you think it'll demand a bigger effort than just the Nigerian government? I know you've said that you think we have the capacity, but we're not just talking about the abductions from St. Mary's School, but the much bigger problem of insecurity in Nigeria as a whole. I mean, do you think this country needs the intervention directly or indirectly of the US, for instance, because the Nigerian government simply does not have the necessary resources. They've reached out to the Americans. And even before that, the Americans were saying they're going to come in here to save the Christians, because the Christian Association of Nigeria and a lot of other people are crowing about the problems that Christians are facing in this country.
I haven't explained to you my understanding about the deployment and how a chunk of our military or a chunk of our security agencies are busy guarding people that they have no business to guard. I still stand to say that we have what it takes to deal with it. But let me put it this way. If you are a good sportsman, you still have a coach. In whatever field of endeavor you do, you still need some assistance, either technical advice or technical guidance or technical support to make a better impact. So a support from outside Nigeria is not in any way showing that we cannot perform. A support from outside Nigeria do not show that we do not exist. A support is to say, look, we are doing it, but when we have some
it just
push,
enhances
the position.
Right.
Look, let's put it this way. When during most of the elections in Nigeria, we've listened to politicians telling us that, look, European Union, American Embassy, and British Council, please come to our aid. Let there be a credible election. Are we saying we cannot do it? We are simply saying that with the observation, with the some support and push from these groups, we can have a better and a credible election. So we are simply saying with the support of these groups, we can have a better security mapping,
I think I get
strategy, and get the kind of result we want. Nobody in his right senses will refuse help in situations like this. And if you listen to the conversation and the report we are receiving from the US, this is what some of us have been saying. And I do say that I don't want to associate with people who twist what Trump said. Trump never said he was coming to bomb Nigeria, sir. Trump said, get rid of the bandit, get rid of the terrorists, or else my men can come over there and get rid of it. So if someone realizes that the terrorists are tormenting us, because what we keep saying, which people don't want to hear, is they hide under a form of identity. But since I'm not a terrorist, many Muslims in Nigeria are not terrorists, let's get rid of them so that they don't keep terrorizing all of us.
Indeed.
Terrorize your neighbor, terrorize you. So what we do and what we need support is to get rid of these people so that all of us will have a peaceful environment. Our children can go to school without anybody kidnapping them anymore, and we can work effectively and be productive. But when we begin to twist this as if it is something else, then the help we desire to get may not come.
Absolutely.
And the reality is that, yes, we have the capacity, but we have certain areas that we can't do it on our own.
Absolutely. Well, let me get you to respond before we have to end the program, because the government spokesman was on this program yesterday, Monday, and he suggested that CAN, your organization, Christian Association of Nigeria, was reluctant to cooperate with the government and security agencies in their efforts to try to secure the release of the abducted students in Niger State. Bayo Nanuga said CAN and St. Mary's School were refusing to give the names of the missing students to the authorities. I mean, is that the case? If so, why so?
In the first place, what he says is a distortion of exactly what happened. Secondly, you see, this is the same mistake that happened during the Trump tweet and Trump messaging, when so many voices were coming out there and saying what never happened. You see, in Nigeria, we need each other to correct whatever wrong. The government needs us and we need the government. And if we have an issue, the government comes to us as people working together to find solution. But when you have people coming out publicly to make such allegation as he did, and with his position, they further just create the confusion and the chasm that makes people find it difficult to trust. Let's be honest to ourselves, that though there are efforts by this government, but there are still trust deficit. And you have to win confidence of people. You just shared with us, which I also have heard from the group, that in that community, the community are saying they've not even seen any security agencies. But we've come out to praise the governor of Niger State. We've come out to praise the commissioner of police of Niger State. We know the effort they put. Look, the distance between Mina and Kontagora to that place itself is like a whole day journey because of bad road. So there are so many factors associated with it. Network availability of network there is also another problem. So little communication gap, and you come out to say, well, we are busy praising the security, praising the governor, and saying if other governors have reacted to issues like this the way the governor of Niger did, wouldn't have been in the kind of situation we are. So I don't know what led him to say what he said, but probably he didn't understand the bishop. The church, the school belongs to the Catholic Diocese of Kontagora. Fortunately for us, he is currently the CAN chairman of Niger State. And he gave every cooperation, because every minute I would speak with him, speak with his secretary, speak with the vice chairman. They had series of meetings with security agencies. So who is reporting what to him in Abuja, and he's coming out to say what? I want to ask those who are in government to find a way of winning people's trust.
Very briefly, because we're almost out of time.
Win people's trust, draw people close, because security is everybody's business. But when we come with this kind of allegations that in reality is not true, we weaken the desire of people to help us pass information.
On that note, I want to thank you very much.
Thank you too.
And very kind of you to come in.
I appreciate this.
Reverend John Joseph Hayab is the chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria in the 19 northern states and the Federal Capital Territory of Abuja. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Charles, and God bless Nigeria.
That's it for this edition of Arise Prime Time. Join us again tomorrow from me and the entire team here in Abuja and Lafia in Nasarawa State and Kebbi State. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.